AI is moving quickly and universities can't keep up. Students graduate without the right skills, but anyone can learn AI and become job ready by taking the right certifications. Industry recognized certs that lead to high-paying AI jobs that are future-proof. Now I'm going to show you 5 AI certifications for beginners from companies like Nvidia and Microsoft, real certs that you can proudly showcase on your LinkedIn or on your resume, and recruiters love these. So let's begin. Now first up is going to be Amazon's AWS Certified AI Practitioner. And this is kind of like the king of AI certs. Now it's perfect for beginners, highly respected, and still pretty easy. Now Amazon, full disclaimer, they have a lot of certifications, but this is their only real AI cert, and it's made to, quote, unlock new career possibilities, and we'll talk about that. All you do is you head over to the AWS website, which I'll show you on the screen, and you'll find the exam overview with some basic info as well if you're interested. The category is going to be foundational, meaning it is for beginners, according to Amazon themselves, and all you need is some basic training, which I'll show you as well. The exam takes about 90 minutes, or you have 90 minutes to complete it, and it comes with 65 different questions. Now, don't panic here, it's mainly going to be these kind of multiple choice style questions where you just pick one of the multiple choices. And the price is going to be $100, which could vary depending on your region, so do check that later as well. Now, the biggest question is, who should get the cert? You don't have to be an expert, relax, but you should be kind of familiar with the basics of using AI and machine learning technologies on AWS. So using AI and ML stuff on the AWS Amazon platform already. To make this extremely simple, you need to kind of learn the basics about AI, but you don't need to build any of the solutions or something like that yourself. You just need to have the knowledge of how it works. And that's why it's really good for beginners. It's about understanding AI, machine learning, and Amazon's ecosystem all in one, so it's perfect for lots of different people, and a lot of companies use that ecosystem as well. I'll give it a final score of 7.5 out of 10. Let's move on. Next up is going to be a certification by Nvidia. Now, these guys dominate AI, and they make the graphics cards and chips that the entire AI boom relies on, and literally without Nvidia, no data centers, no AI, and the economy would collapse. And they literally control more than 80% of the market and became the first company on the planet to surpass a $5 trillion market cap, which is a lot of money, and it's more than Apple, Microsoft, Google, any of these guys. It's pretty insane. And they just launched NVIDIA Certified Associate Generative AI LMs. That's a long name. But all you need to know is the cert is going to be entry level, and it validates basic skills for building AI applications, or so-called AI apps. And you're going to be using generative AI and large language models like ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, etc. And it only takes 1 hour and costs $125 for the exam fee, which is going to be a one-time fee. So if you do fail it every single time, it's going to be expensive. But if you just listen up now, that's not going to be a problem at all. The exam contains about 50 to 60 different questions, and all the questions are going to be multiple choice, which is really good for us because it means you don't need to reason a lot or build some applications or write lots of text. It's literally just multiple choice questions, which is pretty simple if you have the knowledge. And the only prerequisites are a basic understanding of AI and large language models, or LLMs. And once you pass it, you will get a badge, and you can also print out the certificate if you want to. It's going to be valid for 2 years. Your paper is going to be valid forever, but you need to be able to verify it, which means that if you want to apply for a job or something, it should be more than enough. And if you simply want to activate it again, you just take the exam again. But I think you do have to pay, so, we'll see how that works. A bit further down on the page, you're gonna find a couple of ways to prepare and also a free study guide. Now, there are a lot of different topics in the exam, but it's mainly just fundamentals about integrating AI over here into applications over here. Basically, AI-powered or AI-driven applications, which are very popular right now. So you're basically taking AI and throwing it into another application to make it useful. So there's going to be some programming, some machine learning, but still kind of on a foundational level, and you're not going to have to build a lot of the complicated stuff yourself or something like that. And remember, the exam is multiple choice, so you're not going to be writing code or building an app on the exam. It's just about repeating knowledge, or hopefully understanding it too. But who should take the certification in the first place, right? Why is it worth taking, in my opinion? Now, it's recommended for people working any of these jobs who want to get a better understanding of AI and also get certified, but it also works for beginners who want to enter one of these roles in the future. And just really quick before we cover the next one, I do want to explain what the exam is going to be focused on so you can, have a good idea of how it's going to work. So 30% is going to be core machine learning and AI principles and just basic understanding of the field. 24% is going to be software development with some programming as well. There's going to be 22% experimentation with AI and software. There's going to be 14% data analysis and 10% trustworthy AI, which I guess is kind of something about ethics and reliability, but it's only 10%. So really a great option by a well-respected company. I mean, just look at their CEO right here on the screen, the coolest guy in tech right now. So I'll give it a 7.5 out of 10. It's a pretty good option, not perfect. Let's move on. Okay, moving on to Microsoft, one of the biggest companies ever, and this cert is called Microsoft Certified Azure AI Fundamentals, and it's beginner level and for, surprisingly, the AI engineer role. So if you want to become an AI engineer, it's a pretty good cert to take. Now, AI engineers are often misunderstood, and they're kind of mixed up with machine learning engineers and other forms of tech roles. But basically, a really simple explanation is that machine learning engineers build the underlying models, and the AI engineers, they take these models and they build functional applications using these already created models. So keep that in mind because you don't want to spend time on a wrong career or take like an ML course if you're actually into this stuff or take like an AI course if you're into this. It's just a waste of time. Of course, it can overlap as well. It's just important to know what you're doing. And this cert is going to be about demonstrating fundamental AI concepts related to the development of software and services of Microsoft Azure to create AI solutions. And that's a long sentence, I'll break it down for you. So what they basically mean is they'll test you if you know the basics of AI and you know Microsoft Azure. That's it. It's two things, AI and if you can do that with Microsoft's Azure suite or their tools. You don't need a technical background, you don't need data science or software engineering experience, and there is actually a free learning path here, which is about 11 hours long, as well as a free practice assessment and a free exam sandbox. So you can kind of just dabble around and try it out for free before you take the exam, because that's going to cost you. And the exam takes about 45 minutes to complete, which is very, very quick. It's one of the fastest certifications I've ever seen and cost about $99 per attempt. Now again, the price is going to vary a bit depending on your region, so some countries may have lower prices. I don't think it's going to be higher prices in the US, but generally speaking, it's just going to vary depending on the region and the country, so keep that in mind. And if you fail, you'll have to pay it again, so listen up now. Here are the 5 things being assessed. It's just 5 things, but it's quite a lot in the 5 things. The first thing is to describe AI workloads and considerations. You're going to have to describe fundamental principles of machine learning, some computer vision, NLP, and generative AI. And all of these things, again, focus on Microsoft Azure. So you're kind of just doing and learning AI stuff with Microsoft Azure. That's it. This is how the exam is going to look like when you take it online, and it's a pretty simple window, and it's just primarily multiple choice questions. You can see your time remaining on the screen, and you're being monitored by a proctor throughout the test. So somebody's going to be watching you, which might sound creepy, but it's just so they can know that you're not cheating. But I recommend just taking a practice exam first because it's free, and that'll give you a good understanding of the tools and kind of what you can expect on the exam before you take it. You don't want to jump into an exam and a certification too early, especially when you're paying for each attempt. You want to pass it on the first try. So I'll give this one an 8 out of 10. It's good for beginner level, so if you're kind of aiming for an AI engineer job, it's a really good option, but you are going to need one of their more advanced certifications too, so do stick around because it's a great start, really good, but especially for these jobs that are very, very technical, you're going to need some more things, right? So next up we have BCS, which stands for the Chartered Institute of IT. And if you have never heard about them, that's fine, but they used to be called the British Computer Society back in 1957 when they were founded. So yeah, they've been around quite a while, especially in the tech space, which is reasonably new, especially the IT space, I should say. They're based in London, in the UK, but they operate worldwide, and their certs are really, really interesting. I don't see a lot of people talking about them. They're a little bit hidden, but they are quite prestigious and well-known as well. They have a bunch of different AI certifications for all different levels, and on this page, for example, you can see their entire portfolio, which starts with something called an AI pathway. We also have the foundation level, which is a foundation certificate, and also a certificate focusing on the ethical build of AI. So I'll be completely honest, when I look at this, I'm already confused, and I think a lot of us are. This page in general is just very confusing. Which one do you start with? What do you take? What are you supposed to do? But it's actually pretty simple after spending some time analyzing it, so it's not that simple, but I'll explain it now for you. The pathway is kind of like a longer mix of smaller certifications and different exams that all work together as a part of the path. So it's kind of like, if you're used to Coursera, it's like a professional certificate, but with more exams and a bit more formal, because you can't just, take them online super quickly like that. It's more scheduling in real exams and that stuff. Now, the other part, the essentials and the foundations one, are what I recommend for most people, because they're more, instead of like a really long complex path, they're short certifications which you can either take directly, or you can kind of pick a specific course or learning path provided by them, so you can choose. I'm gonna leave it there. I'm not gonna go into more detail because honestly, I think it's a good option, but I don't recommend it for beginners, and I don't recommend you start here. It's just good to know for later stages, but you should have a very specific reason to take one of these certs over the other ones, which are more popular, they're just easier to get, and in general, if you only have a limited amount of time, which we all do, we're busy, I wouldn't recommend you to spend it here, honestly. And that's why I'll give it only a 6 out of 10. Next up is going to be Oracle. Founded in 1977 and based in Austin, Texas, it's one of the biggest tech companies in the world. Now, you probably recognize their name, but most of their products are kind of hidden behind the scenes. And unless you're working in a company that's using one of them, you're probably not that familiar with these technologies, because you just don't meet them in the wild unless you're working with them in specifically like bigger companies usually. They sell database software, cloud infrastructure, hardware, etc. Often for these business cases or kind of like enterprise, and they have over 162,000 employees, and they're, a giant company. Anyway, enough rambling. They also have AI certifications now and free courses for literally all levels, whether you're a beginner, you're an intermediate, or you're an advanced, there's something for you. So let's choose certification, and here are the different options. The first category is very simple. It's just getting started with AI, which is unsurprisingly just about introducing AI and about different Oracle softwares. And it's called Oracle OCI Foundations Associate, which is a learning path and with a certification at the end. Again, kind of like a professional certificate on Coursera or edX. And it's about 6 hours and 39 minutes. And the next area is going to focus on generative AI and of course, using Oracle software again. And this one is going to be 7 hours, 40 minutes, so also pretty short. And then there's some other things about cloud applications, different advanced stuff, some intermediate, and it's just always going to be using Oracle software. And there's also a category with some AI machine learning in Oracle Cloud, databases, one about for data science professionals, building apps with AI, a lot of different options, and it really depends on your situation. It's hard to tell you which one is the best, because if you're into data science, if you're into software, if you're into cloud, you're gonna have a very different selection here. And the best one for you is just gonna vary depending on your situation. But there's a lot of options, so I highly recommend you check them out. The best one for beginners, if you have no specific preference, is gonna be the Foundations Associate, which is basically tailored for complete beginners. So it's a good resource where you can both learn and take certifications from Oracle online. Just make sure Oracle is the right option for you, because everything focuses on Oracle. Just like if you're learning from Microsoft, everything's Microsoft. Google is all Google. Amazon is all Amazon. So that's something to consider when you're taking a course from these companies, is are you actually into their specific tools that they're using? Because if you want to learn something with Amazon, you should probably not take the Oracle course, and it's just a waste of time, right? So keep that in mind, which one you prefer, what the companies look for. But I'll give this one an 8 out of 10, and just keep it in mind. I also cover some AI certifications in detail for beginners, as well as my personal preferences and my favorite ones, some advanced options too, in this video right here. I'll see you there. Goodbye.